What's up, everybody? This is Alex Worldwide Keller, and you're listening to The Card is Going to Change. And let me tell you about one of our beautiful, amazing, gracious, and awesome sponsors. That's right, it's Pollyanna DIY at Pollyanna DIY on Twitter, on Instagram. Go to PollyannaDIY.com, and you can get all sorts of amazing buttons, shirts, pins, the whole kit and caboodle. That's right, PollyannaDIY.com. But now, let's take it to the reason that you hit download, the reason that you are streaming. That's right, the card is going to change.
Hello once again, everybody. Thanks for listening to AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's episode, as always, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors that help us bring the show to you for free each and every week. Firstly, thanks to Angelo's Pizza. They're feeding us here as they always do while we record, and they, of course, bring pizza to you at our live events at Mount Carmel. If you want to try more of their pizza or anything else on their menu, it's all delicious. Head to Angelo's on Madison Avenue in Lakewood, Ohio. And thanks to Smart Mark Video, they record all of our live events. And if you want to relive any of those or watch them for the first time, you can purchase that on DVD or digital download from smartmarkvideo.com. And additionally, head to powerbomb.tv, sign up using the code ABSOLUTE, and you will get a 20-day trial for free. And then stick around and just keep watching the shows that we put out there from the AIW archives. And as always, thanks to Jack Prince, who helps take care of all of our printing and graphic design needs. They can do all of that and more for you, whether it be banners, t-shirts, business cards, flyers, everything and anything. For all that they have to offer, head to jackprince.com.
JAKPrince.com.
Yes, that voice right there, none other than the Bone Collector, Dominic Garrini, returning to the podcast. We are also joined this week by the Duke once again, and of course, as always, AIW owner John Thorne.
Duke's missing another softball game.
Unbelievable. And my name is Steve Guy. I'm your moderator of sorts. On this episode, we tackle a show happened in September, Escape from Cleveland. That was at Mount Carmel. And I don't know where to start with this. There was so much happening.
There's a lot of bad stuff happening here.
Yeah, and but it was an awesome show. It makes its way to be that. But I guess where do we begin? Would you want to begin with our special guest landing, and then
Well, I wanted to begin with the notice of the potential legal issues.
Yes, I forgot that was really what kicked off that entire week, 2 weeks before, maybe.
It was about a week and a half or 2 weeks of getting told that basically we're going to be investigated by the alcohol board based on Mount Carmel's permitting. If they have been getting the proper permits for our events and things like that. And then it turns into, just figuring out what the consequences are if they did or didn't, what could be done. It turns into all these crazy different scenarios.
Yeah.
Which is it becomes very stressful. All based on somebody that we used to book saying that they launched this thing. They called the police to. Well, it's not the police. It's like a liquor control board or whatever.
Yeah.
Which we heard through the grapevine or whatever, and whether they did it or they didn't do it. It was said that they were going to do it. So we started looking into, what it meant and what it could be and what happens from here. And, I had to speak with lawyers and weigh my options. And that's where, Mount Carmel was doing nothing wrong. Everything was on the up and up. However, the potential of, when you start, when someone comes and says, hey, we're going to investigate this specific event that occurs at your venue.
Right.
When we are already in, not hot water, but, they get mad at certain things that happen. So when that happens like I said, I'm speaking to a lawyer based like all kinds of legal ramifications. And it was just, I was just advised like, hey, the thing that solves this is just don't have beer. And even if it is on the up and up, this could still get you in trouble because there are so many different, like requirements to officially follow that permitting
right.
to where, if they want to, I was basically told if they want to find you in violation, they're going to find a way to find you in violation of this thing.
To be said, to our knowledge, everything we were doing all on the up and up, we weren't tiptoeing around any sort of thing. We thought we were completely on the up and up as well. But to your point, the more we start digging, it's like, well, yeah, sure, there could be a gray area here. There's a lot
of gray area there, especially with being a renter of the facility.
Right.
So I was just advised, like, hey, this isn't going to happen, and this shouldn't happen anymore. If you want to avoid any sort of issue, just be done with it. And we did look at ways to remedy it, but. Honestly, based on how this show went, I don't think that many people were upset about it. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't.
Yeah.
But as of now, there's going to be no alcohol sold or, permitted at the Mount Carmel events because, once you find out what the state government could actually come and do to you if they really want to, that gets... that becomes real. That's when, wrestling, the hobby, becomes like real life. Like, you're going to take you're going to take my bank account. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
it's not even you. It's like you were saying before, when you're the renter of the facility, there's what could happen to Mount Carmel.
Right.
There's other people that are going to get affected by it because of, some weird vendetta, if you will, or something, and it's like, okay, you come after AIW for one thing, but then now the church is involved. There's a school there, other things are involved,
right? And that's really what it boils down to. It's a school, it's it's a church, and it's kind of like how a lot of these venues go, and why a lot of venues don't allow wrestling. It's just kind of like, well, you know what, we don't want to be bothered with it, so.
Well, because I can guarantee you their attorney is telling them the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, nothing could probably go wrong, but the easiest way to avoid it is just to not have wrestling shows.
Yeah.
Just like they were saying the easiest thing to do is not have beer.
And keep in mind, this is all, of course, on the heels of the city sending a letter because they're thinking we're packing thousands of people in Mount Carmel and they want tax money from tickets. So it's... there's one thing after the other, and it's like, all right.
There's been a lot going on, like out of kind of thin air in the last couple months, I guess. I guess maybe we could just connect the dots on the whole thing. But
so you actually do have 99 problems at this point.
I have way more than 99 problems.
All right.
And it seemed, it just seemed to be coming to a boiling point with this because, I realize that people like having a good time and they like drinking at the shows, and it helps the environment and helps the atmosphere. And not only that, the wrestlers like to, crack a beer after they wrestle. And
from what I saw, and I know we had the pre-party and then had the after-party, and I'm sure there was, not that we condone it or not that we saw it or not that we whatever, but I'm sure there was a flask or two involved somewhere. But that was probably the worst part, is that all of the wrestlers were just like, hey, man, I need my post-match 2 Pabst Blue Ribbons or whatever, and you're killing me. It's like, sorry, man. You know what? What do you want us to do?
I guess it's the dawn of a new era.
Like, I don't know if any fans complained. I didn't hear anything, but I'm not in the front line of that.
I gotta say, I don't remember who I was talking to. It might have been Magnum afterwards, because I went down to a show that he was on the next day with Swoggle, and I think we both agreed that the crowd seemed more engaged than they had been in the past, and I think you could partially attribute that to them being mostly sober.
Probably.
Because I think when you're drunk or you're in the beer line, and I think you miss a lot. And as much fun as they have when they're drinking, I think that they saw some stuff this time where they're like, oh man.
And it's just, it's one of those things that is just out of our control at this point.
Yeah.
Like it was weighing heavy on me leading up to it, because it's like, you have an experience that, you have built up and, provided for these people. And, at no fault to mine, I have to, stop doing that. And it's just like, it's like gloom and doom. Like, is it all going to come tumbling down now? You know what I mean? Because
nobody likes change.
Right. Nobody.
And so you think, oh, the fans aren't there because they can drink beer.
I know, but it's just
there to see a wrestling show.
It's just, it's a combination of things. And then, like I said, the wrestlers are mad. I'm scared the fans are going to be mad. I'm mad at the situation because it could have totally been avoided. But it was, like I said, it's something that was just totally out of our control. And luckily, we were kind of told about it before anything, really could have gone bad, like the seizing of assets and things like that, which was discussed, when I talked to my lawyer. So
portfolio could have been,
that portfolio
gone like that.
You haven't been working on for me. Could have been gone, but
and that's not to say if we find a solution, we won't do it again.
Right, exactly.
We've got to find a solution.
It's kind of like, I have to be smart at this point, as opposed to, this was 10 years ago, I probably would have said, fuck it, take it all. You know what I mean? Like this is what we do, but there's a lot more things on the line these days.
Yeah. And how you brought it up, so we might as well. I'm going to ask it now. How did the pre-party go? Do we know?
Dom had more interaction with them.
John from Brunettes, from after the show, told me that he was pretty happy with the turnout. Said, we had a good amount of people in there as well. It seemed like there was a nice little contingency of fans who would be trying to run out either between matches or during intermission to go over to Brunettes, have a quick drink, and come back. At one point, young Joshua Bishop left post match in his gear and went and got a donut there. So. John is pretty excited about that. Brunettes, has been up the road from us for about a little over a year now.
Yeah.
Really an Instagram sensation, over 27,000 followers on Instagram. And, they're just big proponents of stuff in the Cleveland community. I know Johnny Gargano loves to go there when he's back in town, and they love wrestling, so they stepped up, offered to be a sponsor for the pre-party, and they had a good time, so we're hoping to do it again.
Yeah, we're hoping that, we have to follow up, as we get closer to Hell on Earth, but we're hoping that, maybe the pre-party can be a regular thing to kind of, at least get people, a little bit loosened up before they get there.
Get lubed up before they get in the door. Excellent. Well, as we talked about before even getting to the show, our special guests made their way into Cleveland, and they had some very simple requests. You talked about this on your episode with Swoggle. And
our special guests made their way into Cleveland, and literally not one student offered to go.
That's where we're going.
And pick up Ultimo Dragon, hang out with Ultimo Dragon, pick his brain, hang out with Damien 666, hang out with Bestia 666, like, talk to them, like, ask them questions. Like, these are unique experiences that you cannot pay for. and literally nobody.
There were many side messages out of the multiple student group chats that John and I have with these students, and it was just us lamenting to each other of what is going on, what are these guys doing, why can they not step up, and it's just one of those things that maybe this new class of kids doesn't understand the importance of these things or
Fucking
what,
millennials, Duke.
Don't get me involved in this.
Well, also let's also strike to the record that about half these kids don't have a fucking driver's license.
Yeah, so like,
I guess that's fair.
Well,
then.
Is it
then
fair?
they really can't pick people. Yeah, it's fair.
Well, I mean,
how can you pick somebody up?
Grow up, get a
right.
driver's license.
They should
gotta
get a driver's license.
They can't go
it's
see
not-
Potato for a car anymore. So I mean,
they can see Potato for direct
The
TV. though.
reasoning,
It's not like
the reasoning for not getting someone is.
it's not like these kids are 16 years old though,
Right.
And like they just got their first job and they got their driver's license. No, like we're talking kids anywhere between the ages of 18 to 24 that don't have cars, driver's licenses, anything.
your
Have
socks should be
full
higher
jobs.
during this rant.
Oh no, just trust me.
Do you think the
I don't have socks on
do you
right
think
now.
the
and I'm-
No, I meant
generational
Dominic
gap-
because he's going all old man on everybody right now.
I'm just as
kids
mad.
these days.
Do you think the generational gap that we talk about regularly with these students
Absolutely.
plays into it?
We can't even get this is going to be a whole other episode, so we're going to have to
So
shelf.
we're have to show on
We're
this one.
going to have to shelf
Okay,
this one
okay.
in a couple weeks. We're going to come back to this because
All right.
we're not going to get to the show. So yeah, nobody offers to pick them up, drive
Yeah.
them around, do anything. And then the other thing that pisses me off, this is going to be the last thing that I say about the students, is
I have one more thing.
I work out a deal to where I have to pay Ultimo Dragon a larger guaranteed fee
Yeah.
for him to do a seminar. I think that this is a no-brainer
Yeah.
in which we are going to cover this additional fee, no problem. Boy, was I wrong when hardly any of the AIW students attend this, and I end up losing a good amount of money on this seminar. Thankfully, students traveled in from the Pittsburgh area and other areas, but the AIW students, where was Trey Lamar? He wasn't there.
Taking pictures by Jim Morrison.
Yeah, where was so many guys?
Well, here's the thing that gets me about that is that it's not you gave us a very good rate to do the seminar. B, it's not like this wasn't known about for months ahead of time to
Right.
where the students couldn't set aside said money to.
Where was
come
Worldwide?
back.
Where was Weird Body? Nowhere to be found.
Weird Body, I think, had to work. One of his few days a week that he works. But it comes back down to that, they knew the date. They knew when they had to set money aside. I can almost guarantee you that every one of these kids drinks Monster Energy every day, or they do something with their money that's not necessary. Drink beer on the weekends, something along those lines. If you set aside 2 beers, you set aside 2 Monsters for 5 weeks to lead up to the seminar, you've got your money for the seminar.
A couple less large pizzas.
Doing math over there.
I know.
Exactly. My socks are high here.
And you're on fire right
He's
now.
the number
But
collector.
one last thing. One of my favorite moments of the seminar would be Ultimo taught the seminar unmasked, and we go to take the seminar picture, and one of the students freaks out. He's like, "Oh my god, he's gonna put the mask on." I go, "Well, yeah, it's not like he's gonna take a picture without his mask on."
They don't know any better. But so anyway, nobody takes them, nobody picks them up. I end up having to pick them up, at their different flight arrival times, which the 666 family arrived at like midnight. And the people at the hotel just knew those guys were wrestlers just by looking at them. It was the most bizarre thing I ever saw in my life. Like, they just knew. They're like, "Are you guys wrestlers?"
They asked for that card for incidentals right away, huh?
Oh yeah. Lucha guys never, ever have a credit card to put down for incidentals at the hotel. Like, I think they do. They just think that they're going to get charged money. So, like, they don't want to do it just on principle.
Yeah.
We can't get into the hotel room. We can't put down a card for the incidentals. It's like, so every time I book a Lucha guy, it's like that.
What's worse, a grown man not having a credit card or an 18-year-old kid not having a driver's license?
I think they have the credit card.
Driver's license.
I think they just think, like, in their, because Mexico is so, like, cutthroat and shady down there. I think they just think, like, the promoter is going to try to get one over on them and, like, make them pay for their own hotel room or something. I don't know.
And I should curb that, 18-year-old in Ohio not having a driver's license. You can live in certain areas. You know, if you live and grow up in like in the New York area, as one of our roster members did and does and lives there, he does not have a driver's license, but he's taking a subway and walking everywhere. You know, places like that. I get it.
So anyway,
Looking too far into it, Steve guy.
the 666 family the next day, they want to go to Golden Corral. Ultimo Dragon wants to work out, eat steaks, and drink wine. Literally nobody offers to do it until
On top of the 4 people doing the ring crew load in.
yeah, nobody does the ring crew. None of these new students are anywhere to be found except for Zaytoven, but he doesn't drive.
No, Zaytoven wasn't there that day, but him and Tuan had to go give the inspirational speech at Shaker Heights.
Oh, okay, we'll get back to that then.
That's got to be a good excuse.
That is actually.
Okay, all right.
But
fair.
so finally, Zach Thomas takes the 666 family. I think Eric Ryan and Eddy only took Ultimo Dragon to go work out. But yeah, so it was just a clusterfuck of a day and a half leading up, before the show even starts.
I would have taken the Ultimo Dragon to work out, and I know a place that has good steak and wine.
I mean, you
You
were
were busy with Swoggle.
no Swoggle escaped him.
Oh.
Swoggle left because he flew in, got in a little bit earlier. He was tired because he had to get up early, and I think he had a show the night before, and he wanted to sleep. when
Then
we
he
got
just
home. Did
then
not
he just
wanna go to eat right
then
away.
he just ended up Ubering to my house.
Yeah, I get to the gym and I get a text message. Hey, I couldn't fall asleep, so I just Ubered to Thorns. Oh, all right, no problem.
So here we are at the show, I guess, and we'll just go from there. The lineup has to change because M-Dog, who is booked as a surprise, is flying in from the West Coast and does not land until 7 p.m. And they were supposed to go first, so then that reshuffles the whole card right away.
Yeah, immediately that changes everything, and now the tag team title match is first.
Which Hornswoggle begged for because they had to do semi-main at Absolution. So he wanted to go on early with the hot crowd.
This would even things out.
Yeah.
Little did he know that the crowd stayed hot the whole time.
They did. And this was, another good one here with the production taking on Twins, the contractually obligated rematch, I suppose you'd say there. And then we go into the 6-way. Matt Cross does make it there. And
Let's not gloss over something. Also, some other person who wasn't there was President Matt Wadsworth was not there.
Yeah,
that's true.
This is the first show he's missed in a while.
So it was. We opened with
school football,
with
yeah.
Joe and myself in the commentary booth.
Oh, that's why you didn't want to gloss over it.
And let me just say, it's a lot of fun. I like Wadsworth, but Wadsworth is kind of like the stickler. Joe's like the substitute teacher.
He let you get away with some stuff.
Like,
huh?
well, we come in, we sit down, we have some fun. He puts on the substitute teacher puts on the videotape and lets you sleep during class while the regular teachers got you doing drills and quizzes and stuff.
Sure.
Wadsworth's the stickler when he's out there, but Joe's a little more laid back. So that was a fun night.
So you enjoyed yourself.
I did.
How many matches did you call?
4.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
I just didn't want to gloss over it for you. We roll into the 6-way. AJ Gray, Wheeler, Facade, M-Dog Matt Cross, Space Monkey, and making his big return to AIW, Flip Kendrick.
Yes. This was initially planned for Absolution. Flip Kendrick ends up getting a foot injury 2 days before Absolution. He was going to be a big surprise to come back at Absolution. He was like moving some boxes or something and like hurt his ankle really bad, and he had to cancel. So Flip's return has been it's been in the works for a while.
Yeah, so there he was. What an ovation he got too.
Oh yeah.
Crowd was ready. They were pumped when that Flip music started hitting, and everybody's chanting with him. It was a feel good moment.
Did you feel good, Steve Guy?
I did. After
Good times and good vibes.
yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Even
all
though
right.
you hate those, but after having a front row seat, seeing what happened to Flip at Absolution 12, You know, for him to finally come back and obviously get the response that he did, yeah, felt good. Felt good for him.
I felt good. It felt good.
Steve Guy got a little touched over there by that. He got enveloped in the moment.
I was like, this is what he deserved right here.
Oh, one thing we probably shouldn't gloss over is the new production that I invested in. The headsets.
Oh yeah, I was going to bring. that up.
That's right.
Doesn't that have a bigger point here soon?
I was going to ask you how that was going, how the headsets were working out early in the show.
Well, they went good, and the whole reason why we did this is because and I'm sure we'll talk about it coming up soon, but the plans for the collective have been well in the works for months at this point, and to which I wanted to start getting the shows to run a little tighter, knowing that we are going to be in the midnight slot WrestleMania weekend. So I figured it's time to kind of start tightening some things up, and also, able to give some cues instead of, awkward things going on, which, worked out well, when you had to stall.
I was going to say, because that was coming up. I was going to bring it up then at that moment.
And just, just different things, just a way to communicate. The refs can now communicate if somebody gets legitimately injured.
Yeah, that helps me too, like being there if I can communicate somebody back, hey, we need this or whatever.
But I just thought of it like the whole purpose of getting this is, to get the show as a well-oiled machine leading into the show at WrestleMania weekend.
First run overall, I think that actually helps, and I think it'll only get better.
The show was very tight.
Yeah. I
keep it tight.
Third match we roll into Josh Bishop, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham.
You can also credit the tighter show to the no alcohol because, idle hands need to focus, and nobody had anything to drink back there, so everyone was making sure the show ran smooth. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise. I don't know.
Joshua Bishop, Dr. Dan.
This is a replacement as well.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 days before, I believe, Ethan Page's contractual obligation to Impact Wrestling, they use those contractual obligations, and he has to go to the television tapings in Mexico, and he has to cancel last minute. So luckily, this is where having Dan in his role currently, was an easy fix here, and we went with Josh Bishop and Dr. D.
So that match,
Dr. D.
Dr. D.
Yeah,
He's not slapping anybody.
He'll slap you, brother. He's the new Duke.
So that match ends, and then that's when I get the word in my little earpiece, Steve, stall. Steve, we need you to stall here because we're going into the Ultimo Dragon Lewis Lyndon match, and I guess Ultimo didn't exactly understand that he needed to go up there right then for the match.
Did he pull a headhunter?
He inadvertently pulled a headhunter.
Well,
he thought that he had more time. Than
the language barrier
he
is...
did, exactly. That's exactly what happened.
He didn't look up and then keep smoking?
No, he did not.
Okay,
do that.
all right.
He thought that he had, like...
I did buy him some cigars, though. I just want to throw that out there.
And whiskey, right? Or bourbon?
Yeah, I got him some bourbon.
He did have... He thought that he had, like, 2 more matches or 1 match had just started.
That's because the show was flying.
Yeah. And so he was still kind of getting ready, taking his time, stretching or whatever. And, he was not ready to come up for the match yet. So I had to stall.
You're a pro Steve Guy.
Oh, thanks.
Don't want to gloss over the fact that you were able to stall for 2 minutes.
Thanks, dude.
Well,
Appreciate that.
because of those headsets, really.
It was because of those headsets. Stalled as best I could, made fun of Dustin Alberti, and we went on.
It's a low blow to poor Alberti right now.
And helped him out. The ladies need to know he was single. It's fine. Follow him on Twitter at Rev1010.
Yeah, any single lady listeners to this podcast.
That's right. Single ladies.
You out there, you won.
You.
Do you want to date Dustin Alberti?
You in the singular. You.
But I was much more. I didn't know what to expect out of Ultimo Dragon. He is in his 50s, and I thought he exceeded expectations in the ring. Especially sometimes you see some recent matches, and you know what I mean. You don't know what they're gonna do. Obviously, he's not gonna wrestle like it's the Super J Cup or anything. But
Right.
I thought that he did quite a bit more than anyone really expected.
Yeah, I mean that was a
he's a
phenomenal
legend.
match.
He wins the match.
Was pairing him with Louis Lyndon automatic in your mind?
Yeah, just based on Louis Lyndon. If you look at the if you look at the I guess experience level of everyone that was there, and knowing that hey, maybe Ultimo Dragon isn't going to want to lose. A lot of these guys don't want to lose.
Right.
You just have to Louis Lyndon doesn't have a title belt. Louis Lyndon is very competent. Louis Lyndon actually told me after this match that he has had over 100 matches in an AIW ring.
Wow.
That has to be the most ever. I mean, there's nobody that has had. I don't think comes close to that.
You got a frowny face over there.
No, I'm not frowning. I'm just thinking.
How many you had?
I'd have to go back and add. It's not 100 because
Yeah.
you haven't had 100 shows, have you?
Oh yeah, we've had almost 200.
Seriously?
Yeah. I don't know what the exact count is, but it's well over 100.
I don't think it's 200.
It's in between 100 and 200. Probably I'm sure someone can look it up on Cage Match, what that German website, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But he actually told me that after he came through the curtain, he said, "I've had over 100 matches at an AIW ring." I was like, "That's crazy."
And what was his reaction for that match then? Did he say anything?
I think he was very excited about it. You know what I mean? Louis Lyndon is he's cool at all times. You know what I mean? Like he never really sells anything.
Captain of the ship, man. You got to be cool under pressure.
That's really why that's really what it means by him being the captain of the ship. You know what I mean? He is the he's a guy that you can just rely on at any time. And I know Thrift Store Jobber just hates when I just praise Louis Lyndon all the time, but
I'm not sure how. I don't want to get off topic, but I'm not sure how anybody can have such a powerful dislike for
Louis Lyndon?
Yeah,
such a nice guy.
Like, what? I mean, and not even that he's a nice guy, but
has solid matches.
If you just watch him all the time, if you like wrestling and you watch him, I don't know how you could have such an anti-opinion of somebody like that.
Yeah.
I just, I'm not saying this is specific to Thrift Store Jobber or anybody, but, I just think, Louis Lyndon is a guy that does not engage in the social media and things like that. He's just a guy that likes to wrestle, and, he's very good, but, what you see is what you get there, and you're not getting anything more. And, maybe people just don't have that access and attention. You know what I mean? Like, I've tried to figure it out, honestly, why he's not more places, and I really don't know. Maybe this lack of social mediaing is what I've come up with, but
I'm sure it doesn't help, because if people don't know,
Yeah.
who you are or what you can do.
So I want to touch more on the Ultimo Dragon experience. One of my favorite moments happened before the rest of us even got to meet him, and it comes across, the board's group chat from one John Thorne. Ultimo Dragon is a handsome man.
he is a handsome guy, dude.
Yo, I mean,
Stephanie McMahon, that was always the rumor.
Right.
Ultimo Hottie.
I said, man, this is like a handsome guy. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what to expect. From some of these mask guys, man, they should wear a mask.
Yeah, there's a reason they're wearing it. Yeah.
But you always have that. You have that memory of like Stephanie McMahon rumor wanting to take the mask off him or whatever. And I was like, I'm really interested to see what this guy looks like. And he had his hair was done nice. He had some like really expensive sunglasses. He's like a really classy guy.
Yeah.
Like super classy dude. Dressed very nice, and it was just like, you could tell this guy is, this guy's a star.
And it helps that, he's a superstar. He's probably got the best of everything. In general, Asian people don't age a lot. So, I mean, he probably looks...
Oh, he looks like he's 30 years old.
That's what I'm saying. They don't...
He's in his 50s.
They'll stay the same, and then all of a sudden they'll get to a certain age, and it'll just hit them. But, sure that's exactly why.
Does he dress like Attitude Era, The Rock when he would like wear the
No, not like that. No, he's like
pants?
real classy guy.
Do you have
like
a sport coat on?
Like, yeah, he did have a sport coat. On.
Wow.
Yeah. But he's like a very classy guy to where, you know what I mean? Like he's like a cigar smoker and an expensive wine guy.
Right.
And, you know,
So go into
How expensive was the wine and cigar that you bought? Do I need to check the portfolio?
the cigars that I got him were very expensive actually, because I know nothing about cigars. But you know, you always hear another thing that you hear as a promoter is like Japanese talent, like a Japanese custom is, you know, they like to receive a gift. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna try to do a little bit more for this guy in hopes that he's going to go out there and work very hard, which I feel that he did.
Oh, yeah,
it worked
absolutely.
extremely hard. So, you know, I asked, you know, I asked around. I actually texted Sonny Ono and asked him, and now Sonny Ono won't leave me the fuck alone, thinking that I owe him money for giving me the intel that where I needed to fly him to, and that, you know, he likes cigars and whiskey.
10%, brother.
Yeah, Sonny Ono, I actually had to block him on all forms of communication.
Going to sue you now for discrimination.
I said,
He won a lot of money on that lawsuit.
Yeah, well, exactly. It works. Clearly, it works for him.
he kept asking me for 10% of Ultimo Dragon's fee, which I did not book Ultimo Dragon using Sonny Ono.
Yeah, 10% for what?
Because he wanted 10% for telling me where his booking was the next day, where to fly him to. But, and then, you know, he kind of threatened me. He said, wrestling's a really small place. And I said, okay, Sonny Ono, don't fucking threaten me.
So you also bought him. It was a Cleveland whiskey, right?
Yeah, Cleveland
one
was.
of their
It's like, you know, upper tier
Flavors
Cleveland
or
whiskeys.
whatever.
Yeah. Ultimo Dragon actually sent me a picture of it. He texted me drinking it the other day, so
Yeah.
I guess he liked it. And I got him some cigars. I don't know anything about cigars, but there's a fancy cigar shop in Ohio City. Cigar. Josh,
cigars. Yeah.
because Josh Prohibition told me, you know, UWA Hardcore because they had Ultimo Dragon a lot, and they bought him some very fancy gifts, and I went, well, I'm not going that fancy. You know, they're buying him like Versace things and stuff like that. So I was like, I'll get him some cigars though. You know what I mean? Like, what could a cigar cost? I don't know.
Right.
I mean, it's not astronomical, but you know, it was expensive. You know,
Now you can get cigars. There are cigars that are.
I spent about
$100.
Yeah, I spent about $50.
All right, that's good. For how many?
3 cigars.
Yeah, those are solid cigars.
That's probably all right.
Yeah.
I went to the shop and I said, you know, what's the, you know, just you do it because I don't know anything about cigars. You know, so you own this place, you work here, you just give me some nice cigars that aren't, you know, like fucking Philly blunts from the fucking 7-Eleven. That's pretty much what I told him.
Good times, good vibes.
Yeah. Ask Sabu.
That's right.
So, speaking of Philly Blunts, next match we roll into is the 4-way, the tag match. PME, the productions, Eddy Only and Derek Director, To Infinity and Beyond, Colin and Cheech, and then Chase, Oliver, and Trey Lamar. No consequences. Also, Cheech's birthday show.
Cheech's birthday.
How about that?
Cheech's birthday. Cheech very excited to go to the funhouse afterwards. Cheech was also very mad about this
I was going to say
no alcohol.
he was the first person I think I saw that was visibly upset.
Yeah, he was.
And I don't know if it was because it was his birthday or because in general he likes to have a couple beers when he gets done.
I think
Cheech is like
birthday.
Cheech is like a party sometimes guy.
He was excited to get to the funhouse for
But
about 45 minutes, and then I don't think he remembers.
Oh,
much
And
yeah.
then he was like, "No more shots.
Yeah.
I can't do any more shots."
But then they kept showing up for some reason.
But this tag match, I mean, there's not a lot to say about it. You go out of your way to see it. This is probably one of the best matches in AIW all year. You know, I'm not going to break down the whole thing, but this match was very, very, very good. What I liked most about it is it featured a lot of the homegrown people coming through the school.
Yeah.
And you know, Colin and Cheech, just like Lewis Lyndon, are just invaluable guys to have in a locker room and to be wrestling with younger talents. They always deliver, and they always kind of, you know, bring people up to another level. They're another team that I can't imagine why they are not getting booked fucking literally everywhere, because they're unreal. But this match is, I would say, it's in the top 5 matches of the entire year in AIW.
And I'll say this: PME is starting to get a notice at a lot of a lot of places. They're getting noticed around, and I would say, Dom, do you think that is a direct result of you see them?
I mean,
a fair amount.
Yeah,
at training.
They would probably be two of the most dedicated guys when it comes to attending training sessions, being there for the ring crew, being there when something is necessary. They're always there. They're always some of the first to, dedicate their time. And the success they're having this year, because it's really been this year that they've really broken out, it's indicative of the hard work that they put in.
And they can see the results too. So that's why they keep going to training, and that's why they keep doing what they're doing, because they can see A plus B equals C. They go do the things, and then they get booked all over the place. And as much as I dislike them on some level, I have to give them credit that they are, one of the ultimate babyface tag teams.
And they're fantastic.
Their double team work is great. Their continuity is great. Their attitude is great. I mean, as much as it pains me to say good things about people I genuinely dislike, you have to be honest at some point.
I'll tell you what. I watched them on a show the next day, and my unexpertise opinion or whatever to them, my feedback was, it's like I was watching, they were in another 4-way tag match. It was like I was watching one tag team versus a whole bunch of singles guys, because they are just
and that's
on point. Not at the AIW show, because the other thing I want to say is obviously Derek Director and Eddy only are some other guys.
Well, that's something that I, guys like when PME, came over to us, I really stressed to them that the indie tag, the idea behind the tag teams on the indies is there's not a lot, and that's really a good way to get yourself noticed, especially when you're newer, like PME.
Right.
And I said, you guys need to do everything and come across as a tag team. You guys have to have tag moves. You guys have to, work off each other and feed off each other. That's just stuff that Johnny taught, us and everybody that was coming through, because it was really beneficial for us when Johnny was, having that first DIY run, to have him come in and teach us what he was learning down there and what him and Tommaso were doing and how they were getting over, which then kind of allows us to, like guys like myself and Dr. Dan and the guys that were there when Johnny was there, allows us to pass that knowledge down to guys like PME who weren't there, but are in a better spot right now to use that than someone like me and Dan, who are more singles-based wrestlers.
Would you put the AIW tag team division up against any other promotions?
There's just so many teams that are good, and this is why we have to do these 4-way tags and things like that, because there's just so many teams. But it also creates, it just creates excitement, you know what I mean? And like, there's a lot more ways to be creative in these multi-tag matches, and it gets these guys on the shows. Obviously everyone can't be on the shows, but I like to try to feature as many people as we possibly can.
What amazes me about the AIW tag team division, and you see it in this match in itself, is the individuality of the teams. Does that make sense? They're all very different. You don't seem to have anything repetitive. You go from PME to the production. They have obviously multiple tag teams, and you're going to have some repetitive nature in terms of, because they're one huge unit, but even still, their styles are different. Cheech and Colin, Trey and Chase, even to Mans and Jock Sampson, you're getting something different from all of these teams, and I think that's what makes it so fun to watch. They all have put any of them together, and you're going to have
right now. It's just there's just so much synergy amongst the tag teams and chemistry, and everyone's just working so well together.
Yeah,
and that's why I like the shows like the ones like Zero Cool to Winchester, to where we can give these guys some traditional tag team matches and really, give them a chance to develop that way too, in a more traditional way. But everyone just seems to be clicking right now. That's that is a tag team in AIW.
Yeah, I mean, from the new tag teams to, like I said, well, Mance and Jock are a new tag team, but all the way to Eric and Bobby. And,
They all, and where some people excel, another team excels in a different way, and it just works.
Yeah. So that match wraps up. We roll into the Intense Championship match. I believe this is Tim Donst's first title defense.
Yes.
I'm not mistaken, because he had to call off from Wrestle Rager
for his Ring of Honor dark match.
Here's an honor.
So,
All he had to do was ask, and he's back on the show. See how that works, Steve?
well, he's got a title to defend.
vacant.
Who should it go on?
Do you think?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm not dumb enough to say that in front of you guys. Come on.
he's dumb enough to think it in private though?
Yeah.
I'll say it to myself on the drive home.
Yeah, exactly.
Tim Donst, Colt Cabana, and it's what you expect from these two veterans, and their different styles, but they can work a match together. It's fantastic. It's fun to watch, and
they've had a couple matches in AIW in the past, but I think by far this one was the one where they finally clicked.
Mm-hmm. But
Despite the
earpieces come into play here, John Thorne. Do you want to talk about it?
Oh no.
Or no?
There was just a lot that was going on here. I don't know if it was a DQ or a count out.
Count out.
Count out?
it
that
turned
was a
out
count
to
out.
be a count out.
Yeah.
But these refs love kind of trying to show their authority in a fake predetermined exhibition of performance art.
I'll talk about kayfabe.
And Jake Clemens is on the headsets here because I think I'm dealing with Ultimo Dragon. He wants to get paid and wants to get a ride back. So at gorilla position, Jake Clemens is Jake Clemens. Everyone with an earpiece in, it's a two-way, so anyone can talk that has one.
Right.
Even though I had the headset, anybody has the ability to communicate. And Jake Clemens goes, "You better count him out."
No, that's not what happened.
No.
I was standing right behind him when he did it. He was,
DQ him, Dave.
he was sitting in Gorilla, and I'm not sure. Oh, he was sitting in Gorilla, and they were fighting outside.
Yeah.
They were fighting outside the ring. And, there's Jock's wife. Missy Hyatt.
Lovely Missy Hyatt on that
And so
avid listener.
it's going for a while, and I think somebody in the back might have said, are they going to get back in the ring or what? And Jake into the earpiece goes, DQ him.
Yep.
Potato, DQ him.
He said Dave. He said Dave.
Dave. Did he say Dave? Okay, he said
Yeah.
Dave, DQ him. He said it 2 or 3 times. And I looked at him, and I was like, Jake, are you fucking stupid? It's a live microphone during a match. Potato doesn't know that you're screwing with him.
He doesn't know who's
And
coming
you're
through the
trying
headset.
to,
That's what I was gonna
you're
say.
trying to rib Potato, who has no sense of humor to begin with, during a match.
In a serious
rare-
environment.
On a headset, the first time we're using them,
Yeah.
when Potato is hearing things, thinking could be you, and
you
it's
can't. That's the
legit.
thing. You can't tell if that
And
was
it
John
just, it
or
just
Jake.
turned out that they go to the side. They're at 9. Cabana throws Donst in, and he makes the mistake
Of not
getting
getting
back
in.
in the ring. And so Potato says, 10, ring the bell. And we all looked at Jake, and Jake practically pissed himself when that bell
I
rang.
was so mad
Yeah.
because they were out there for about 3 minutes, and I was like,
No, they were out there for a good amount of time.
It was short.
It was a good amount of time to
Yeah.
where we were questioning if that was legitimately the finish that they had planned.
No,
Right.
no, we were questioning if it was a spot that was planned because they just keep it rolling so perfectly.
Well, yeah. Then they did the restart.
Credit Colt Cabana for being.
Yeah, but also credit Colt Cabana for saying later on, "I forgot the rules of wrestling."
Yeah.
Because people wanted to blame Dave, and it's like absolutely 100% isn't Dave's fault. We were
Yeah.
blaming Jake, and then Colt said, "I forgot the rules."
But yeah, at the same time, at some point, Dave's got to say 10. You know
Right,
what
exactly.
I mean? Like how long?
But having Jake in the earpiece,
But having
pushes-
Jake in the earpiece say DQ him,
didn't
even
help.
before that happened, did not help.
Right. It was chaos. I know. I sat there.
It was chaos.
Man.
Yeah, we were.
Okay.
Jake was very lucky.
I guess I'll ring the bell here. It was
I was
interesting
mad
for sure.
Getting mad about it again.
I was mad. I wasn't even my show, and I was getting mad. I was like, "What are you, stupid? How could you even do that?"
Yeah, but we covered Nelly Silly.
Because when Potato and Jake, they do these small shows and they like work with these wrestlers that are like questionable to even be wrestlers. They do shit like that. Like Potato will DQ somebody for breaking the rules and say, or like
if somebody roughs him up,
somebody shoves him, he'll DQ it. You know what I mean?
He warned him once. This has actually happened. That's why he brought it up.
I've seen it without the warning.
He warned him once, and he shoved him again, and he rang the bell. It was a 2-minute match, and we got to the back, and quite frankly, he's right. But he's like, you can't do that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong, but anyway,
You can't show up the refs.
well, you can show him up, you just can't touch him.
Yeah. Fair enough. What was the circumstance you saw, Dom?
It would have been a show I did with Alex Daniels, like 2 Decembers ago, and he was wrestling JD Smoothie, and JD Smoothie just grabs an umbrella and hits Alex Daniels with an umbrella right in front of Potato. Potato just looks at him after he hits him and just rings the bell. DQ, a minute and a half in the match.
Oh yeah. So it wasn't any
There was no restart,
DQ match or no rules match.
Not no DQ, no restart, nothing. Just ring the bell, head on home.
And do you think that's the right call there too?
Yeah, he hit him with a foreign object right in front of the referee.
100% the right call.
It's 100% the right call.
If you're going to do that, you can't improvise
No.
breaking the rules
Right.
blatantly while they're staring right at you. There has to be some element of realism that still exists.
What's interesting then is you get this reaction from the fans, right? Who give a guy like Potato so much shit and such a hard time.
It's
like,
easy.
you need to count, Dave, and then you get to count out.
Potato's an easy target in their mind.
Yeah.
Potato's an easy target because he can't laugh at himself, so he internalizes everything and takes everything super
But
seriously.
then from a fan's perspective,
So-
it's like you're not even just Potato. Sometimes
well, if they know
Jake,
they got somebody,
you know what I mean?
they're gonna
But them
say anything
wanting
else.
the refs shouting at the refs, "Oh, you're gonna count? Hey, it's no DQ or whatever," and trying to yell the rules at the referees. And then the moment they adhere to them, I feel like the fans think that they're cheated.
Well,
but it's like,
'cause
well,
the
what do you want?
The fans thought. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
there
the
you go.
problem.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
We know you love those fans.
Well.
I do. A couple of them.
Well,
What do we got next, Steve?
next we go with the 4-way match. This one was unannounced. KTB.
Yeah, it was. This was announced.
Did we announce this one?
Sure
we
did.
did. You're right. We did. I was thinking this was the surprise, but the surprise was the 6-way.
No, this was announced. Yeah.
KTB, Matt Justice, Nick Gage, and Tom Lawlor. What a foursome right there. Nick Gage, I'll tell you, gets busted open on the top of his head
This match
in the crowd.
is another match that could be a top 5 for the whole year. This match was fucking awesome as well.
Hey, Thorne. Do you remember when KTB gave you a business card at the WrestleMania weekend in Orlando?
No.
Yeah. So I wish bartender Nick Sanka was here because I always remember this. He was on the first Janelle spring break, and you came all drunk, and it was you and
Was this
Nick
before or
Sanka?
after he threw up at Disney World
Before.
or Universal Studios?
Before. Nick Sanka and Nick's girlfriend Allie. And I remember KTB was just in the lobby handing out his business cards to people. And
It's working, man.
That's
who would have thought?
fantastic.
A couple years
Paying
later,
dues.
we're here at Our Lady of Mount Carmel in Cleveland, and he's in a 4-way with Nick Gage,
I did not know that.
Matt Justice, and Tom
Lawlor.
Lawlor.
I'll have to look at my luggage from Orlando, see if that business card's still in there.
KTB making himself known, putting a lasting impression on the fans, and well, John Thorne here booking him again.
I thought this match was awesome.
It was. I was very much worried about Nick Cage bleeding from the top of his head, cut open. I don't need anything. I'm fine. He's like,
What
I'm
did
good.
you
I'm
think
like,
he was gonna say?
I don't know. Like, it was bad, man. Like, it was.
I'm surprised he didn't say make it worse.
It's like sliced on the top of his head. And
Oh gosh,
I'm in the crowd checking on Nick because
there's a great Nick Gage story still coming. By the
Oh,
way.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I know what that one.
and then
is.
I gotta go back and ring the bell because the finish happens while I'm attending to him. Also, KTB.
How did he get busted open? I didn't.
It was Nick was in the crowd. I believe it was Matt jumped from the top rope out to Nick over the rails, obviously. And I think it was when they went down from there, he may have
Hit a chair or
chair on the way to the floor. And then KTB, though, worth noting, said, "Hey, man, you ready for the funhouse?" "Oh, no. I banned myself from there."
What happened?
It's like I retired from the funhouse.
Did something happen the last time he was there?
He's having a lot of fun at Absolution.
When he was headbutting the wall.
He was, yeah, he was.
Oh, I don't
Get a
remember.
He was like working a match with the wall, but like only me and Tom Lawlor saw it happen, and it was like, it was. He was like selling for it, and like.
No, he's a worker, man. Did he give the wall a business card?
He might have.
I think he listens to the podcast because when I brought it up, he laughed and he had a great time. I think the exact words where he's like, "Oh no, I'm banned from there." I go, "Who banned you?" He's like, "I did." Like,
That's a smart move. That wall is not going to give him his win back.
What's the Nick Gage story coming later?
Nick Gage story comes during the main event.
Okay. So next up, Dominic Garrini gets his first ever absolute title shot
Against my absolute kryptonite of an opponent, Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, who, following this match, I am now 0 for 7 against.
Wow.
I'm going to try to keep that streak rolling.
That's not a good streak, man.
No,
I
it's
don't know.
not.
Hey,
But, no, I mean,
ask Kurt Hawkins. You make a lot of money
True.
losing streaks.
Yeah.
Tracy, obviously the new champion. Tracy taught me a lot of my young career. He was there a lot for me when Johnny had gotten signed. Kind of took that spot as a wrestling dad for me. So to get the chance to be his first defense was really cool for me. We've worked, obviously, having worked over 7 matches together. You know, we've got a pretty decent chemistry with each other, and we just kind of went out and tried to do a little bit of kind of what we did that first match we had a couple years ago at J-Lit and kind of tear on and build onto that.
Speaking of Thrift Store Jobber, who was brought up earlier,
Are you going to mention the hat guy in the crowd at Halloween Havoc?
Well, no.
ECW hat guy
I think,
in the front row?
he's,
Oh, yeah, look at
I think
that.
he's going to mention me flicking Thrift Store Jobber off.
yeah, always
Turning.
thumbs up from the Duke.
I had
Dominic.
AIW superfan Rick Nelson tell me the only true way I could turn heel post show was had I flicked off Thrift Store Jobber, and that's what I did. So I don't know.
You're a heel now.
Are you a heel now?
Are you heel?
As far as I know.
Are you? Well, we'll get you a smoking jacket and a key to the bathroom for the club, for the
all
heel
right.
club.
Can it be purple?
Hey,
Can the-
whatever
can the
color
smoke
you
jacket
want,
be
man.
purple? Yeah, I'm in.
Just like the 5 Timers Club on SNL.
I love that 5 Timers Club. So then we roll into the main event,
Oh, the main event.
Mexican Death Match.
Oh, I thought you were going to do a different Nick Gage story.
Oh no, I know which one you're thinking of.
Yeah.
But no, this
Yeah,
one's
yeah.
completely different, which is a great one.
The Young Studs versus La Familia Tijuana.
I'm going to say this right now. This match was exponentially tamer than I thought it was going to be.
That's no way to sell a DVD, but
Yeah, thanks, Duke.
Hey.
I mean, there's some answers to that. I mean, obviously, I think everybody thought it was going to be a little crazier than it was. I mean, Eric Ryan got crazy.
He did, but I think maybe that's with the buildup that he had to it, and talking to Bobby the week before, and knowing what Eric was planning on and
Well-
other stuff. It didn't seem like he maybe did as much as he wanted to. I don't know.
think a little bit of that. I also think a little bit of it was, honestly, like he pitched the ideas from what I know. He pitched the ideas to Damien and Bestia, and they were completely fine with Eric taking all the stuff, but they didn't necessarily want to take that stuff. I mean, with especially with Bestia being such a big star down in the Crash, I'm assuming he didn't want to tear his body up on barbed wire or glass. But I know Eric had come up to me about 3 weeks before the show and said, "Hey, I got 5 panes of glass from Habitat for Humanity. Let's
He
party."
literally stole at a charity Habitat for Humanity store. Didn't steal them.
bought
Stole
them.
them from a Habitat for Humanity
No, he
house.
bought
I
them.
mean,
No, he bought them.
No, I'm saying he, rather than allow someone to have a home with windows, he bought them to go through.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
fair enough.
hey, they sell them. I don't know.
I don't know.
One of my favorite moments is
Awesome.
when Eric Ryan goes through the glass And
my Nick Gage story comes after this, so
Tom Dunn comes rushing
Oh,
out.
I know you. I remember.
Tom
that.
Dunn comes rushing out of the ring to make sure he's okay. And I'm going over there too. Tom slips on the glass and lands on top of
Oh,
Eric.
I didn't see that. I was doing that. I think Joe and I were standing up because everybody was standing up at that point, and then
Yeah.
especially when Eric went through the glass, everybody, and it was right in front of us.
Yeah,
where he
that
did
first
it.
one, yeah.
So everybody kind of scattered, and so we were just standing up. And I was looking to where whatever else was going
This
on.
was the second.
The second
glass.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and Eric is laying on top of it, and he's kind of starting to move to get off of all these shards of glass
And the barbed wire.
And the barbed wire. When Tom Dunn comes over, slips and falls right on him as he's trying to check on him. And Tom's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Eric. Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, except you fucking falling on me. That's the worst. Get off of me!" Like, because he's just shoving him further onto this
Tom
barbed
Dunn is a
wire.
very giant, uncoordinated bear of a man.
He felt so bad.
So Nick Gage story.
Yeah.
I'm watching this match at the gimmick tables next to Colin Delaney, and we are very excited as Eric Ryan starts to set up a contraption of barbed wire and glass. And as he's setting the glass up on the chairs, Nick Gage hits us both in the arms and goes, "I wish I was in the middle of the shit right now." At which point I really thought, I saw Ryan Kaplan, I said, let's add Ryan Kaplan to the Young Studs, and let's add Nick Gage to La Familia de Tijuana, and let's party.
Yeah.
But Kaplan says couldn't go, or he could lose eyesight permanently.
Yeah, he had some medical issues going on right now.
Says he'll be back though.
Yeah, he's coming back to the train full time.
Oh, yeah?
I'm excited.
Oh, man, you heard it here first.
But Thorne, can you kind of give a background on why this match kind of happened?
This was Eric Ryan's dream. Wrestling Damien 666 was Eric Ryan's dream match, but I didn't know how to get a hold of just Damien 666, so I got a hold of Bestia, and then it turns into like, well, we'll come in as a tag team sort of thing, and then it just kind of spirals out from there. It's just I knew that this was always Eric's dream match, and I'm always been a big fan of Damien 666 from like Super J Cup 95 or whatever, and I ended up talking to him about it, which was kind of surreal to just sit and talk to him about it, even though he speaks very minimal English.
Amigo.
Yeah, he kept calling me amigo all weekend.
Better than Gringo or SA.
Because an amigo, and he sent me he added me on Facebook and sent me a message that said "Hola, boss." But
I think that's
this was Eric. Yeah, this was Eric Ryan's dream match. So I was just after Absolution, everything kind of resets a little bit, and I was just like, well, fuck it, let's just go for it, and that's how it all kind of came about. Figured, no one else is gonna book Eric Ryan against Damien 666, so might as well give it to him in his hometown.
All four of them want a rematch.
Okay, so that's just the oldest trick in the book.
I mean, Eric wants it,
Memphis
though.
Special right there.
You
baby.
know Eric wants it.
Yeah, well, we would like to have a rematch.
Maybe that's why they held
anytime.
back a little bit. They want more for that rematch.
Well, they were saying, if they would have known in advance that Eric Ryan wanted to get so crazy, they would have prepared for it and brought, different gear and stuff like that. From a promoter standpoint, like, you never really want to tell somebody that you want them to do a death match when the price is already kind of high, because then that price tag goes up more. And I was already kind of, like, this budget is pretty up there sort of thing. So I didn't want to say, oh, by the way,
budget, Thorne. Responsible Thorne is nowhere near as exciting as young, irresponsible Thorne was back in the day.
well, it's all on my shoulders these days, man.
It's all budgets, and numbers, and
Budgets and
spreadsheets,
numbers and spreadsheets.
portfolios.
Wait till you do my tax return finally. There's a lot of spreadsheets in there.
I mean, from there, lots of cleanup. And
Actually, not lots of cleanup. This was the quickest we have ever
Was
done
it?
at Mount Carmel. This was quicker than any GNO
The
cleanup we have ever had.
show
what made
was
it so
done
quick?
early.
All that stuff.
I think a
sitting
little.
at the
I think there were
bottom.
two factors. One, the tightness of the show with the headsets, and two, the lack of PBR, Bud Light,
Oh, sure.
whatever Rita cans, and plastic cups on the ground.
Okay.
Those were non-existent, so it was a very quick cleanup process.
All right.
And plus, no one was drinking during the show, so they were probably able to clean up a
A
little
lot
faster.
less messes.
No, I'm
As
saying
well- as well,
they
we-
were probably able to function
As well, we
better.
have started putting extra trash cans around Mount Carmel to kind of try to funnel the trash in a more orderly manner,
Yeah,
which
that'll
has helped
help.
us out quite a bit.
That'll help. Well, good. Well, then we.
And I was happy with the match. You know what I mean? Obviously, it may have been tamer than like a crazy like traditional death match, but I mean, they still did some stuff. Damien 666 still works extremely hard, and I mean, Eric Ryan gets thrown through a fucking pane
I'm
of
not saying
glass.
it wasn't good. I'm not
Twice.
saying they didn't do some crazy stuff. It just Eric has set the bar for this stuff probably higher than it needs to be. So when you don't get there, you're, it's like, oh, okay.
Where would you put this on?
On Eric Ryan's craziness scale?
No, on the ranking of this match and your Wrestle Rager death match.
Ours was probably more ridiculous. I would have to say.
Hear that, Eric Ryan? Duke's calling you out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying that. You asked me which one was
Wrestle
crazy.
Rager 4.
I think
Sounds like.
I think ours was crazier. I think anybody
Wrestle
Object-
Rager 4, Deathmatch Desperados.
Sounds like Duke needs to get one of his.
Deathmatch
Duke, Eric Ryan.
Wrestle Rager 4, don't touch the garage door.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing that's happened recently. That
But
I'm
this has
mad
already
about.
been a marathon of a podcast.
Yeah. Well, and then we roll into the after party.
nothing really to talk about.
I thought
there.
we were
Not
going to
too
get
much-
to
not too much to
the
talk
Nick
about
Gage
there.
story before we got to the after party.
Nah.
That's what it was. It was. I wish I was in the middle of this shit. He said it.
That was his Nick Gage story. Why'd you got one?
I had one. I mean, that I thought was kind of interesting when we were after the show. We were all downstairs, talking kind of about the situation we touched on earlier.
Oh,
And Hot Sauce wasn't aware of all the what was going, all the facts and everything. So Thorne was kind of
I forgot about this. Yeah.
Thorne was kind of filling him in on all the details and not super specific, but it is that the other thing. Cabana was there listening and some other people. And it was like he's doing some envelopes and stuff and just kind of telling the whole story. And he I don't know what he said, what Thorne said exactly, but it was something to the effect of, yeah, we really got screwed, or yeah, we kind of got, by this dude or whatever. All of a sudden, Nick Gage, it was like a dog that heard a whistle. He just goes, all of a sudden it's like a Kramer slide step right behind Thorne. He goes, what, do we need to take care of somebody?
He said.
He's like, I'm with you guys for life. Or I can't. I'm paraphrasing. I'm doing a terrible job because I don't speak Nick Gage. But
He said. You need me to go talk to somebody?
yeah, that's what it was. He goes, you need me to go talk to somebody? And then he put out a tweet later on that night about how we were, family and how he's got our backs and everything else. And I was just like, I'm not going to make any sudden movements here. I'm just going to sit quietly. And
I love Nick Gage. He's one of my favorite people.
Nick
in that
Gage
locker room.
requesting hot pretzels, from what I understand, at the concession stand, Monsoon Classic. If you're listening, he's a hot pretzels and cheese guy.
oh,
Okay. Might have to add that.
interesting.
Oh, there you go.
So I don't know how you're going to pull it off, Monsoon, but just know Nick Gage is looking for him, and he does not want mustard. He wants cheese.
We got to get one of those nacho cheese things.
Well, we could afford that had we not had to buy a new garage door.
Yeah. Oh, I did forget about the pre-show, Thorne. We changed up our spot. We did go to Happy Dog. I know
yeah.
you guys touched on that with Swoggle. He was very happy.
He calls it happy dogs.
He calls it Happy Dogs. Doesn't realize it's just one dog.
No.
Delicious eating all around. And I will say that there was a request from one of Swoggle's friends to bring him back ballpark or stadium mustard.
Bertman's.
And I believe he left it at the venue.
Yes.
So if anybody has that, we need it.
I'm sure you can get some more. It's
I'm sure he'll get
available
some
at a
more.
grocery store near you.
Sure, he'll get some more. Jingle Toes is going to be really upset because he went and bought that for him, but that'll be okay. And that's about it, I think. Anybody else got anything to add?
Nope.
Sweet. Good deal. Well, for Dom Garrini, for the Duke, for John Thorne, my name's Steve Guy, and we'll talk to you next week here on The Card is Going to Change.